Trudeau's $6 billion housing plan. Will it be enough for surging immigration? Welcome back to Canada Chronicles. In today's video, we'll be diving deep into one of the most critical issues facing the country, Canada's housing crisis. As home prices soar and rental markets tighten, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has rolled out a $6 billion housing plan to tackle the problem. But is this ambitious plan enough to meet the growing demand fueled by record immigration levels? We'll also explore the challenges in meeting this demand, from labor shortages in the construction industry to rising material costs and bureaucratic delays that are slowing down housing projects. These issues impact not only Canadians but also the immigrants and temporary foreign workers essential to the country's workforce. Stay with us till the end as we break down the challenges of meeting housing demand and dive into Trudeau's bold strategy. Can Canada build homes fast enough to keep up with the influx of new residents? Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on more insights into Canada's biggest challenges. Let's get started. Trudeau's $6 billion housing plan. Recognizing the urgency of the housing crisis, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his government have introduced a series of bold initiatives aimed at increasing the supply of affordable housing and managing the impact of immigration on the housing market. One of the most significant elements of Trudeau's plan is the creation of the Canada Housing Infrastructure Fund. Announced in September 2024, this $6 billion fund is designed to support the construction of critical infrastructure, such as water, sewage, and transit systems, that is essential for new housing developments. By funding this infrastructure, the government hopes to speed up the construction of new homes across the country. In addition to the infrastructure fund, the government has introduced a policy capping international student permits, with a 10% reduction by 2025. This measure is intended to ease pressure on housing markets in cities with large student populations, like Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal. Additionally, Trudeau's government is exploring zoning reforms to allow for more high-density housing in urban centres. Historically, many neighbourhoods in Canada's largest cities have been zoned for single-family homes, limiting housing construction. By reforming zoning laws to encourage multifamily developments, the government hopes to create more affordable housing options. Thanks for staying with us this far. We appreciate your time and hope you're finding this information valuable. The challenges of meeting housing demand. Trudeau's housing plan is ambitious, but significant challenges remain. One of the biggest obstacles is the construction industry itself. Canada is facing a labor shortage in the construction sector, particularly in the skilled trades. Ironically, while immigration contributes to the housing demand, it's also part of the solution. Many of the workers needed to build homes, plumbers, electricians, and carpenters, are immigrants. Although the government is working to streamline immigration pathways for construction workers, there still aren't enough to meet demand. Additionally, the cost of construction materials has risen significantly since the COVID-19 pandemic due to global supply chain disruptions. The prices of key building materials like lumber, steel, and concrete have soared, making it more difficult for developers to build affordable housing. This, in turn, shrinks profit margins and extends construction timelines. Bureaucratic red tape is another barrier. In many Canadian cities, it can take years to get permits and approvals for new housing projects. Zoning laws, particularly those favoring single-family homes, slow down the process and create resistance from local communities. Even when projects move forward, developers often focus on high-end developments rather than affordable housing, as they offer higher profit margins. As a result, the middle and lower-income Canadians who need affordable housing the most are being left behind. Impact on immigrants and temporary residents. While these challenges affect all Canadians, immigrants and temporary foreign workers are particularly vulnerable. Newcomers often face difficulty finding affordable housing, especially in high-demand urban areas. Immigrants are more likely to rent than Canadian-born residents, and they tend to be concentrated in regions where rental prices are highest. For international students, the cap on study permits may reduce some housing pressure, but it could also have long-term consequences for Canada's immigration pipeline. Many international students transition to permanent residency after graduation and contribute to Canada's economy. However, if housing becomes too expensive or difficult to find, Canada risks losing out on their talents and economic contributions. Similarly, temporary foreign workers, many of whom are employed in low-wage industries like agriculture and hospitality, struggle to find affordable housing. The government has introduced new housing standards for these workers, particularly in the agricultural sector, but concerns remain about the availability and quality of housing for temporary residents. Zoning reform and streamlining bureaucracy. One of the most promising aspects of Trudeau's plan is zoning reform. Many of Canada's largest cities are dominated by single-family zoning, which restricts the amount of housing that can be built in urban areas. By reforming zoning laws to allow for high-density developments, such as apartment buildings and townhomes, the government aims to increase the housing supply and reduce pressure on the rental market. Another key component is streamlining the approval process for new housing developments. In many cases, projects are delayed for years due to bureaucratic inefficiencies. The government is working with provincial and municipal leaders to reduce these delays and make it easier for developers to build new homes quickly. However, reforming zoning laws and streamlining bureaucracy will require cooperation across all levels of government and support from local residents. In many communities, there is resistance to high-density developments due to concerns about neighborhood character. Overcoming this "not in my backyard" mentality will be crucial to ensuring that enough affordable housing is built in Canada's urban centres. What's next for Trudeau's housing plan? As Canada continues to welcome record numbers of immigrants, the pressure on the housing market will only increase. Trudeau's plan is a step in the right direction, but significant challenges remain. The government will need to invest more in affordable housing, streamline the construction process, and ensure that immigration policy aligns with housing policy. Cooperation between the federal, provincial, and municipal governments will be critical. Building more homes quickly means tackling bureaucratic inefficiencies and reforming zoning laws to allow for higher density housing. Another important factor will be the ability to balance immigration with housing demand. While immigration is crucial for Canada's economic growth, the government must ensure that the housing market can keep up with population growth. The cap on international student permits is a step in this direction, but further alignment between immigration and housing policy may be needed to avoid overwhelming the housing market. A focus on affordability. A major criticism of housing policy in Canada is that new homes, when built, are often not affordable for the average person. Luxury condos and high-end developments dominate the new housing supply, leaving middle and lower-income Canadians priced out of the market. Wealthy buyers can afford these properties, while others are left competing for a dwindling supply of older, less desirable rental units. To address this, the government will need to prioritize affordability. Public funding, subsidies, and incentives for developers to build affordable housing are critical. It's not enough to simply build more homes, they need to be homes that Canadians can actually afford. Solutions. A path forward. As Canada looks ahead, several solutions could help ensure the success of Trudeau's housing plan. 1. Increase public investment. The $6 billion fund is a good start, but more public investment will be necessary to meet the goal of building 3.5 million homes by 2030. The focus should be on affordable housing projects. 2. Streamline bureaucratic processes. Reducing red tape in zoning and permit approvals will be key to speeding up construction. 3. Reform zoning laws. Allowing for high-density developments in urban areas is crucial for increasing the housing supply and easing pressure on the market. 4. Align immigration and housing policies. The government must ensure that immigration targets are in line with the housing market's capacity to absorb new residents. 5. Support temporary residents. Temporary foreign workers and international students should have access to affordable housing options, including purpose-built student housing. 6. Encourage private sector investment. The government should incentivize developers to build affordable homes by offering tax benefits and partnering with financial institutions to make homeownership more accessible for Canadians. Canada's housing crisis remains one of the country's most pressing challenges. With immigration levels rising, the housing market is under immense strain. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's $6 billion housing plan is a bold step forward, but significant obstacles remain, from labor shortages to rising construction costs and outdated zoning laws. The key to success will be building homes fast enough to keep up with Canada's growing population while ensuring that those homes are affordable for everyone. This will require a coordinated effort between all levels of government and the private sector. The future of Canada's housing market depends on how well these challenges are addressed. Thanks for tuning in to Canada Chronicles. We hope today's deep dive into Canada's housing crisis and Trudeau's $6 billion plan gave you some valuable insights into the challenges ahead. As we've seen, while the plan is bold, there are still many hurdles to overcome, from labor shortages to rising construction costs and the need for zoning reforms. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about the housing crisis, and do you believe Trudeau's plan will be enough to meet Canada's growing demand? And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss out on more updates and discussions about Canada's biggest challenges and policy shifts. Stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll see you in the next one.